This is TechStrong TV.
Designing data centers with sustainability in mind is a top priority for my next guest on TechStrong TV. Joining me now is Luke Kipfer, Vice President, Data Center Development and Construction for American Real Estate Partners and Powerhouse Data Centers. Luke, thank you so much for joining us on TechStrong TV.
Thanks, Bonnie. Glad to be here.
Well, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into sustainable data centers.
Yeah, absolutely. My background, I come from the trades. Right out of high school, I went to work for a mechanical contractor. I grew up in construction. I've been in the industry my entire life. And as I developed throughout my career, was able to see really some of the inefficiencies that are involved in design and construction. And what that has in terms of a carbon and a sustainability footprint through the entire life cycle of construction development. So it's really something that I've taken to heart, especially as Powerhouse has rolled out our new data center platform.
And what are some of the objectives and challenges in developing data centers specifically for the real estate industry?
Challenges are tough. There's a lot of constraints, especially for the data center market. What we call hyperscalers, the major players and developers in the game are moving very quickly. So they're looking to, optimize land usage. They've got the power density and requirements for sites have just grown exponentially over the past few years. Data centers as a whole it's a very new market, and it's moving very quickly. So it's being able to adapt to the compute needs that, the biggest users have today, while still being able to do it in a sustainable and responsible manner.
Oh, well, moving a little more deeper into sustainability, can you describe Powerhouse data centers and the unique technical real estate solutions that they offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're Powerhouse Data Centers. We're the technical real estate division of American Real Estate Partners, who's been a developer for over 20 years. Recently have moved fully into our data center brand, fully into its own separate platform, Powerhouse Data Centers. So what we do is we acquire land sites. We take care of all the utility coordination, entitlement, zoning, the design of the site development, and the construction. So what we do is we really do a top-down process when it comes to sustainability, starting very early, even in site selection, site planning, then going through design and construction, how we run our job sites, all the way over to how we commission our projects and turn them over to the end user.
Now, how does it work with the infrastructure masons? I understand there's been a recent announcement regarding climate accord and meeting those standards. Can you explain what that really took to make it happen?
Yeah. So Infrastructure Masons has been a professional association in the digital infrastructure market for some time. And they had four really key values, and sustainability was always one of those. In the past year, March 2022 is when they rolled out the Climate Accord. And that's really a specific action group to focus on sustainability within the digital infrastructure. It's several different, key focuses on that, but really it's transparency within the digital infrastructure market on what we're tracking, how we're building, and really putting together, common metrics so that as we're different developers doing the same task, we're tracking the industry in the same method. So we can really compare to see, one, where we're at today, and two, have a measurable difference moving forward.
Well, I'd like to break down some of the details in sustainability design for data centers. For example, one of the things I was reading about is how it starts with the trees. Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, no, I mean, it goes to the basics, right? So, when we're looking at site development, as land, especially in competitive areas like Northern Virginia, is getting tougher to find, there's no more easy sites to find and develop data centers. So, we're looking at sites that might have existing facilities that have to be torn down. We might be repurposing other facilities. There's not a lot of good, clear land to do that. So when we do with these things, we plan our development so that we're preserving things like old growth trees, landscaping buffers between neighbors, really understanding that, we're trying to put a lot of infrastructure in a small area, but planning around our existing site conditions in the most, sustainable way possible.
And what kind of construction materials do you look for when you're designing these?
So specifically, what we control as a developer is the site development and the core and shell construction. So two major components of that are steel and concrete. So when we source our steel, we specify a certain amount of recycled steel needs to be used in that. And then that's been around for a while. Steel is one of the most widely recycled components in the world. So recycled steel has been around. The one place that we're really making a lot of headway is in concrete. Concrete, is, responsible 50 to 85% of embodied carbon in any building project. So that there's a lot of opportunities for sustainability improvements in concrete. So specifying a low carbon concrete is one way we're really able to, help build a more sustainable building. There's a couple different ways to do it, but really from our side, it's steel, concrete, and then our actual construction operations.
Do you ever come up onto any challenges, kind of getting everyone on the same page, construction, the material gathering, just the whole process, everyone being on the same page that we're going to do things a little differently maybe than we've done it before?
5 years ago, I would say the answer is definitely yes. And it's amazing how within this space, so many of our partners have pivoted so quickly. If 5 years ago, if we started an RFP interview response with sustainability, people would look at you funny. Nowadays, it's expected. It's not so much a spec that's buried deep within a document. Now it's front page. Now everybody's talking about it. So it's certainly been a really great shift within the digital infrastructure market. That it's not just us that is driving this forward. It's our general contractors, it's the subcontractors, it's the designers, it's the local municipalities we're working with. And then, ultimately it's really in our industry, the end users, the hyperscalers, our major clients that are driving these changes. But it's amazing the speed that everyone's been able to get on board and really buy into that. This isn't a fad. This is the way of the future, and these are the way things that need to move.
Do you find that there's a crossover since you've been in the real estate industry where we're talking about data centers, but have you found interest from the contractors, municipalities, and others that you work with that maybe we can apply these principles to other design projects?
Yeah, I specialize just in the data center space, but certainly, AREP, our real estate portfolio as a whole, has really shifted towards prioritizing sustainability. And yeah, certainly local municipalities, it's space planning has always been certainly, something that's been a hot topic. But, in terms of the entire sustainability picture of the project and the job site, they've done a great job with some of the local municipalities, working with them to be able to, advance our sustainability initiatives.
That's great. And now that we're well into a new year in 2023, where do you see trends going in terms of sustainability and data centers?
The one area I really think that needs improvement and will improve is the collaboration. Data centers as a whole, I don't want to call it a secretive industry, but every organization, every design team really feels like they had, the special sauce. They had the secret way of doing things, and it was better than everybody else. Where in reality, it was really a lot of separate organizations solving the same problem, potentially in different ways, and some of them more efficiently in different ways. So I really see, and this is one thing that the iMasons Climate Accord is driving, is collaboration beyond, between teams. So if I'm building a building, someone else is building a building down the street, someone else is building a building maybe in a different market, but we've all are moving towards the same sustainability goals and, facing the same sustainability challenges. So really coordinating our efforts and, working together as an industry versus, just separate organizations trying to solve problems is really going to help compound the efforts moving forward. It's really going to speed up our move to prioritize that in the market.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for joining me on TechStrong TV. This is a fascinating topic, and it looks like we're going to be seeing more of these sustainable data centers in the future. I appreciate your time today.
Awesome. Thanks, Bonnie. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, stay with us. We have a lot more TechStrong TV coming up.